do highly suggest that you join, because you'd be very surprised at the amount of joy you can gain from joining a community and feeling like you're actually a part of something.
And it really just goes to show that until you actually put words out there, even just make a comment or even make a statement about past, present, future, whatever it is, you'd be surprised at how many people are actually wanting, have experience, or experiencing the same thing as you. And that could be the same principle, but different circumstances. I love it.
She was so surprised. She actually, I'll put it up on screen if I remember, she commented, "What is wrong with you?" on one of my videos. Like, thanks, Mom. Very encouraging, hey?
I would much rather my mate sit there and cry on my shoulder than me have to carry his casket next week.
Foggy in the back, eh?
And if we're going to be sponsored by Kirkland, we got to put the fucking brands out.
Kirkland, we want to sponsor.
Sponsoring today's episode. Absolutely not. Don't sue us, Costco.
I don't think they would. I don't think they'd have it in them.
Costco refuses to raise the price of the $1.50 glizzies. I don't think they're going to sue us for saying...
Spring water. We love your spring water, Costco. Please. Well, we're back. Feeling good. Ready to talk, ready to have a chat, ready to have a conversation about why a friend group's important and why surrounding yourself with people who, I don't know, would have your back are important. I think is the biggest thing. I think surrounding yourself with a people and a group of individuals who are willing and ready and able to help you at any means necessary is truly the joy of life. I mean, I really do think that having a friend group that you can rely on is something special. And while some people don't have the ability to have that, that's what we're creating. We're creating a Discord actually at the moment. I will link it down below. We're in the public beta, as I would put it. If you want to come join the Men's Tavern, the Men's Discord, a group of individuals who come together as a community. If you're lacking community, if you're lacking need, if you're lacking a group of people who are willing and able to support you, I highly do suggest you join our free Discord down below and you come join the Men's Tavern community, because I want you to become a better person, and every single person in there wants you to become a better person. I think that's the perfect way to start with the Brotherhood. Is the tavern idea, the idea of a tavern.
Man, when you sent me that you're like, hey, I made a Discord, I was like, hell yeah, man, that is awesome. And then you sent the name Men's Tavern. I'm like, oh,
it's good.
I'm like, yes, sir.
It's funny because when you think about it, we've lost, and you go back in times of a men's group, and men's grouping would always be at taverns. Men would always have their times at taverns.
Back in the, I don't know how long ago it was, I'm sure someone older than us is probably going to correct us, but you know, like 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, even into the 90s and the early 2000s. Oh, we'll just say this, before social media.
Yeah.
But really, because
100%.
that's what people did socialize. They went out to, you know, the bars, the restaurants, the taverns, especially back... Oh, geez, someone's probably going to correct me, too. 60s, I'm not sure. 60s, 70s, 50s, 60s, 70s, I'd say. Taverns were really strictly a men's only thing. Women weren't allowed in taverns. And, geez, I just recently saw one. The last tavern, and I can't remember. I think it was the 70s, if I'm not mistaken. 73 or 76?
Sure. It's over my head.
I saw a picture, and it was a sign hanging outside of like the Gentleman's Tavern. It was like the last open men's only tavern.
It's what honestly, you know, we talk a lot about, oh, you know, we care about men's mental health. Oh, you know, we care about men and we want, you know, them to be their own individual self. But at the same time, no, you don't.
Oh, that puts me in mind. Do you follow Paddy Pimblett on UFC?
I know who he is, but I don't
is.
follow him on
Those
Instagram.
Of you, if you don't know who Paddy Pimblett is, he's a UFC fighter. I think he's in lightweight division.
I have no idea.
I think he's in lightweight division. Someone correct. Featherweight or lightweight, 155, 145, one of the two. Those of you who don't know him, since he's gained his platform and his stardom with the UFC, he's been a very big advocate for men's mental health. And unfortunately, I can't remember the date now. I think it was 2022, something like that. It was really when he first made his like UFC debut, first started gaining traction with the community, first started gaining traction with his fan base following, stuff like that. And he had a win. And at the end of his win, it was, I can't remember, so I'm probably going to misquote him, but one of his best friends back home, he's from...
Killed himself, didn't he?
Yeah, he took his life. And it was like a couple hours or like less than a day, less than 24 hours before his fight, like before fight night, that he got a call that, you know, one of his best friends back home had took his life. And he took the time, after every person who wins in the UFC, it used to be Joe Rogan, even though he's there on the big cards, but Joe Rogan will come up no matter what, and he's getting that post-fight interview.
You got to, man, no matter what they say.
But he went up to Paddy, and he asked him, and he had said this, and that is, he woke up, it was either that morning or the morning before, that one of his best mates back home had killed himself. And since then, he's been using his platform extensively to promote men's mental health, and that's one thing that he always talks about. And it went super viral because it was a pay-per-view fight. It was like, I don't know if it was a
they're
main
big
event,
fights too. They're very big fights.
He talked about, he said, I can't remember exactly what he said, but men need to start talking. And he concluded it with, I would much rather my mate sit there and cry on my shoulder than me have to carry his casket next week. And at the time, that hit me very hard because I was going through some shit then too. And, you know, now thinking back on it, about the stuff I was going through and how little it is compared to what it is I'm dealing with these days, this year, it's so true, man. And, you know, having those, if you have, I know some people out there aren't always as blessed, and, you know, life in certain times of your grand timelines, at some points in that timeline, sometimes you don't have that many people, whether it is you're new to an area, you just moved away from your previous, you know, maybe your friends moved away, maybe whatever the reason is that unfortunately you might not feel like you might not have anybody. And this is kind of the reason why we're doing the channel, is because we understand that unfortunately there are some people out there that do not have anybody. And those of us like myself and you, Zach, and I know I can speak this to every single one of my friends that I care about, you guys got somebody, and it's me sitting right here. If I call you a friend, if you, I'm saying this, but I don't mean it in a self-loathing way. If you have the privilege of calling me your friend, just know that you always have somebody in your corner no matter what.
Absolutely. And
that, to me, that's what friendship and, you know, brotherhood is all about. Is if you're friends with somebody, you better mean it. And if you're closer than friends, say your best friends, you know, I have a lot of close guys that I would call brothers 100%. I'd give my life for them, and I know that most of them would do the same for me. And if you're throwing those words around and having that capacity of somebody's acceptance, care, vulnerability, and respect, don't break it. Do the right thing. And if you're going to be throwing the word friend, brother, or whatever, sister, for those females that might be watching, whoever it is, be there for your people. Being a friend, you have to. You have to. That's what holds us up. And having those close friends, those brothers that are there for you all the time, it gets pretty lonely to share your triumphs as well alone. You want somebody. I know we're talking about bad times right now and how we can come to different conclusions on how to work through tough circumstances or whatever the problem may be. Yes, this is a self-improvement channel, but that doesn't mean everything's always going to be bad. And I just wanted to add that in there as well, that if you're telling somebody you're your friend, be there as a friend in every capacity. And that includes sharing them in your triumphs, because
I get a latch off of that actually while
ahead.
you go. If you look in the Discord community and how they do use on your TikTok, whatever it is, it's a self-brag. There's a place in the Discord for you to go off and say, I did this, I did that. Because many people don't have the opportunity to share their experiences and what they've done. But what we've also done is we've curated this place where people can come and compete with each other. Some people like it, some people don't. But what I'm trying to tell you is that the more you compete with people and the more you see other people succeeding, the more you can piggyback off of other people's success, and you say, he did this more than me, now I want to do this more than him. It's a healthy competition. That's what the Discord's all about. So join Men's Tavern down below. I feel like I'm getting a call.
I tried to join it last night, but for some reason my Discord account, it locked me out. I don't know why. It said you're not the person you're saying you are. I'm like, what? I was like, this is my password, but apparently it's not me. So, but this is what I was looking for. Paddy Pimblett had posted. He did an interview ahead of his training, or what is it? The headline is by Sky Sports, and it was Paddy talking about an interview. And it says, Paddy Pimblett opens up about mental health issues in training camp ahead of his fight against Bobby Green. And this was on Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it. And somebody had started a thread, and it says, this is probably a trigger warning. Someone replied to Sky Sports post and said, can't stand that scruffy scouse rat. Hope he tops himself.
Oh, nice.
Vermin. Thumbs up.
Nice.
And of course, Paddy posted on Instagram. And his caption says, no wonder men don't speak up.
True.
I put my feelings out there and tell men it's okay to talk. I just get told to kill myself and have pictures of Scousers dying sent in the replies. We need to change this mindset.
Yeah, that sucks, eh?
And it sucks, man, because
it's a bit rough. It's a bit rough.
Nobody deserves to be told. That's one of the most vile things, in my opinion, that you could possibly say.
Well, it's funny because it's almost a self-reflection, and I know this is not. We'll spin it back here in a sec, but it's a self-reflection. It is. All these negative words that you hear from other people when you succeed, and you will succeed, it's always going to be a self-reflection.
Insecurity, jealousy, whatever it may be.
You can't do that. Go screw yourself. Go off yourself. Go whatever it is. It's always a reflection of what the person's internally thinking, just expressed in a way because they don't have a way to express themselves.
Or they don't want to put it on themselves, and they'd rather put it on somebody else.
Exactly.
They don't want that accountability.
But one thing that we could look at this in a way, and we can actually spin it back onto the conversation of a brotherhood, is that if you're having internal battles with those thoughts, having a brotherhood and having people around you who are willing and able and happy to sit down and listen to the thoughts you're having, judgment-free, it'll change your life.
Oh, it is.
Because it's very select few, and this is one thing I wanted to have the conversation with you about and you about, is that finding that right person. Who is that person that you want to talk to? Who is the idea of the person you want to talk to? Is it a guy? Is it a girl? Is he successful? Is he not successful? Is he listening to what you say judgment-free? Is he one to give you harsh advice when you need harsh advice? Curate an idea of a person that you want to have in your friend group that's going to listen to you, and don't settle for less. It's true. If you have somebody in your corner that's willing to talk you out of situations, is willing to listen, is willing to listen to you judgment-free, it's game changing.
It is game changing.
It's game changing.
And I bet you a lot of people have those people in your life right now as resources. You just haven't reached out to try.
But it's hard.
It is.
It's going to be so difficult for you to reach out.
It's the scariest step, I would say, in my recent time, scariest thing I ever done.
Well, because you're afraid of what the person's going to think.
You never know. You never know. If you're constantly in turmoil about the thoughts yourself, and you're flip-flopping from, oh my God, this isn't good, this is good, this is terrible, this is great, whatever it is, you're uncertain of things in your own mind. That's why you want to speak to other people about it. And you don't know how they're going to react.
No, that's the big thing, is it's how are they going to?
But at the same time, it's like, that's why you need
solid group.
You need a solid group of friends around you. I mean, like, I can sit here and say I got a friends list on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, full of people. That a lot of people I call friends, but I only have a select.
How many of them are friends?
How many of them are friends, and how many of them are acquaintances? Because
sort it out for yourself.
Sort it out for yourself, because I've had a lot of friends growing up, especially through childhood, and I know a lot of other people have shared the same thing. Growing up, you're a kid. You're just out there to have fun. You're gonna make a lot of friends with people.
Oh yeah.
If as long as you're not arrogant and you have, you were taught respect and stuff. But that's hearsay. Doesn't matter. I'm sure everybody, I think, in some sort of capacity, no matter what type of person you are, you're going to find like-minded people, whether it's in misery, whether it's in happiness, whether it's in joy, whether it's in competition, whether it's in challenge. There's always going to be somebody out there, I wouldn't say in the same boat, but traveling the same river as you will say.
It's crazy because you feel alone and you feel like your thoughts are, nobody's felt your thoughts or nobody's going to know your thoughts. I'm telling you right now, probably about 15 people you walk past might have had the same thoughts that you're having.
Oh, yeah.
There's a thing called the collective subconscious. And the collective subconscious that basically states in a layman's term that everybody has the same thoughts. All thoughts stem from one thought. So don't ever think for a minute that your thoughts are your own. Everybody's had thoughts like you. Everybody knows what you're going through, and people are willing and happy to relate to the things that you're going through.
Isn't that funny? You ever see the posts on Instagram or Facebook about like the guys with like all the guys of Instagram?
Yeah, man. We talked about this. We talked about this downtown. Yeah.
Is this not a cool stick? And it's just a picture of a stick.
Yeah.
Like, but it's a wicked stick.
It's a cool
like
stick.
just a long, straight, thick. You just tell it's a stout, just stick that you can hit other trees with.
But it goes to prove the point that other people have the same thoughts, but you would never know.
Ever.
Until someone said that they had those thoughts.
Because I think back to my childhood, and that was the way I'd be walking, me and my boys be playing man track or something like that. We'd be running through the woods.
I'm getting a second call.
Like,
please keep going.
We'd be like, boys, look at this stick. And be like, yo, look at this stick. I got to go find a stick. And little do I know, thinking back on it in the past, it's like, That was a memory I didn't even think I had. But as soon as I saw the post on Instagram, it had like probably 20,000 comments, and like, you know, the first top 5 comments were like, did we all live the same did all the boys live the same childhood and we just didn't know it, or did we all have the same outcome but different circumstances type of deal? And you know, there'd be like 20,000 likes on this comment, 50,000 likes on another comment, and it really just goes to show that until you actually, you know, make a voice, put words out there, even just make a comment or even make a statement about past, present, future, whatever it is, you'd be surprised at how many people are actually wanting, have experience, or experiencing the same thing as you, and that could be the same principle but different circumstances. You know, for example, maybe you're trying to get a promotion at work, and the circumstances that you have to go through in order to get that said promotion, or circumstances that you're going through working towards that promotion that might be different than the different circumstances that the next guy is dealing with, but you're still working towards the same goal. You're still wanting that promotion, you know, just for an example. But of course, my phone locks every time I go and look at it. I need to turn my screen timer back up. But the reason why I wanted to talk about friend groups and support groups so much is that most of my life I always tried to do things alone, as I've said on previous podcasts, but it wasn't until I made that first step and started talking to people that I didn't realize that there was a way out of this hole, that there was a way out of this despair, there was a way out of this hopelessness feeling that nothing's going to get better and nothing's going to change. And it wasn't until I started using my resources around me to the fullest capacity that they were shown to me that I really saw growth. And you know, having my friends around me, like Zach, for example, one of my really good friends, I trust him with my life, and he's, you know, for example, he's one of these guys. I'm sitting here doing this podcast with him. We're talking about self-improvement. You know, we chat about things all the time off the camera, and we even had a chat just before we turned on this camera about things that were bothering me today, because, you know, I had to talk about things and get things off my chest before I could sit down and actually focus on delivering some decent content to you guys as well, and having a conversation in an emotional capacity that I can with Zach, and then also record it in good spirits with you guys as well. And it just goes to show that, you know, for a couple hours this afternoon, I didn't have anybody to talk to, nor really could I talk to anybody. I was at work. I needed to get things done, you know. It wasn't pressing enough that it was going to ruin my day. I just had to get through the rest of the workday in the best spirits that I can, and just know that I have that resource to use when it's available. And thinking on it now, I just thought of another talking point, is that, you know, maybe you're at a situation. For me, it was, I'll use my example. I was at work and I didn't have one of my boys there that I could sit down and talk to. I would have loved to stop what I was doing and talk about what was bothering me, because it was bothering me quite intensely. But knowing that I will get to be able to talk to somebody, I just have to wait. I just have to get through what I'm doing, and then I can get through it. That offers such a big level of peace component to that. Just knowing that there is help coming. I just have to get through a certain little bit before I can reach that help. And, you know, not every circumstance is the same. It might not be work, maybe, you know, whatever your circumstance may be. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you. Apparently the man of the hour. Everybody wants to get a hold of me.
I was just talking. Every time I look at my phone, I swear it just
Mother
locks.
calls me. She goes, "What's wrong with you?"
That sounds
Okay,
like a
well, that's
conversation with
quite
my
the conversation. She goes, "What's on your Instagram?" Because it's all the reels that we have on Instagram. So she's seen my Instagram. She's like, "What's wrong with you?" The cats and the dogs eating the microphone and me interviewing people. She was like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "Listen, when it's working, and it has been working, now I'm just waiting." Yeah, I'm loving it, man. Like, how are you getting retired?
You can't see it. When you said, what was it, Nova or Luna, we're going to go hunting, it was, what do you have to say? Yeah. I lost it, man. Man, the content's great. I love it.
She was so surprised. She actually, I'll put it up on screen if I remember, she commented, "What is wrong with you?" on one of my videos. Like, thanks, Mom. Very encouraging, hey?
Does she think I'm just as messed up?
She calls
me son number 2.
So she goes, what are you doing? I said, I didn't tell her we were doing this. I said, I'm brainstorming with Austin. Oh, she goes, I said, I'm with Austin. And she goes, oh, you're probably downtown interviewing people then. I said, no, we're coming up with ideas. I'm not interviewing people. So she's going to have something to say. But
she always has something to say whenever I show up. It's usually hi second son. Your mom's
crazy.
The best.
Crazy. Where are we at?
I was just
walking
talking
back
about how important it is to have friend groups around you, and I was using you as an example, and I used my own example. How I was at work this afternoon, and shit started going south. We'll just say that. Mentally in my own head. Got caught up in a thought loop, got caught up in a thought process. I didn't quite lose control as I normally would, which is a nice reminder to me that I'm making progress, I'm making growth, because I was aware that I wasn't controlling my thoughts and they were spiraling in a downwards motion and putting my brain into a state of, I don't want to say despair, but temporary despair, we'll say. But the nice thing is I knew that it wasn't going to last, because I was coming here to talk about it. Not even so much. I knew that I was coming here to see you and do things with you, and I knew that I could talk to you when I got here.
Yeah.
So as much as I wanted to scream and shout and, unfortunately for me, it's destroy things. I become very destructive.
What you call do unproductive things.
Do unproductive things. As much as I wanted to do that, I was able to center myself. I won't say center myself. Ground myself to the point that I could function normally in the best mood capacity I could.
Yep.
But the only reason I was able to do that is knowing that I'm going to be able to get this out eventually. I will be able to get this out at the end of the workday. Yep. Like, I just have to get there. And I said that's a big part of a nice foundation of peace that comes when you know that you have that support group that you can reach out to. It's just, unfortunately, circumstances came for me that I just wasn't able to stop what I was doing and get the feelings out that I was feeling. I had to wait till the end of the workday. It's part of life. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but that mood probably would have been a lot different if I didn't know when I got home from work that I could get this out.
Flipping the script for a second here, because I want to flip the script. Everybody's going to have a time in their life where they need to be the shoulder, in a sense. And I think coming from this perspective of me being the shoulder in this situation, you really have to know that you can't judge the person. And I mean, seriously speaking, from me to you right now, coming from the person who's listened to many people speak, do not judge. No. Figure out a way that you can, like, we're all human, we're all going to judge on the surface level, it's going to happen. Some things are going to come out of people's mouths that you're like, hold up, you don't really mean that, you didn't mean to say that, or whatever it is. Do not judge. Let the conversation flow, because the more you judge and the more you let your ego get involved, the worse of a time you're going to have in trying to provide for somebody. Let the person speak. Your best friend is silence. Because if you really truly want to get something out of somebody, I'm going to go on a psychology route here, is that don't speak. Because people find it awkward when there's little voids in their conversation where nobody's speaking. We all have that person we talk to who might be a little bit slow when they respond because they don't understand or can't process what you're saying fast enough, but we feel the need to respond, or we feel the need to say stuff in those voids. So if you really want to get something, and this is kind of a dark psychology trick, but it's not really, because it will help the person in the long run, don't speak. Let the person speak, because the person obviously has something on their mind. Shut up for once. Shut the frig up for once. I'm being serious, because some of you guys talk way too friggin' much. Shut up for once and listen to what the person has to say. It's not all about you, and it's not always gonna be about you. You're gonna have your moment to shine. You will have your moment to shine, but shut the frig up and listen to what the person has to say. You're gaining no friendship by talking, because it's all about you. It's not all about you right now. It's about the other person. So shut the frig up.
God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason.
Oh man, people talk so much.
Oh, people don't listen enough.
One thing I wanted to bring to light, too, the lonely phase. And one of the hardest phases you're going to have to do.
I just went through it.
Sucks, man, because you feel like nobody out there understands you. Nobody out there has an idea as to what's going on. Nobody out there knows what I'm doing. Nobody out there relates to me.
I'm going to put this in my car before it blows away.
People out there understand what you're going through. But sometimes dealing with lonely phases is one of the most challenging things you'll ever have to deal with, unfortunately, as much as I hate to say it.
I'm a little chilly without the...
You're good. No, you're bald now.
I am,
bald
man.
on the
I got no hair on the back of my neck. It's the breeze, man. That fog is killing me. Living in Eastern Passage, there's a skinny, hypothermic diabetic, dude, not always the best situation, man. I'm always cold.
Lonely phase is hard. It is. I've been through, and I still am in many times where I'm doing things other people aren't doing, and I feel like nobody relates to me. I feel like even the people that I hang around with sometimes,
man,
don't understand.
And
like, it's like they want different things, and I want different things, but nobody gets it. Nobody gets it. Nobody gets it.
Well, I wanted to add to that, actually, because unfortunately, I feel like I say unfortunately, but being the God-fearing man I am, is it really that unfortunate? But that's my own perspective. But I'll leave that perspective out of it, because you're all up to your own interpretation of what you want to view the world like. But that loneliness thing, to add to it, not only like maybe you are lonely right now, maybe you don't have that many people around you, but also a loneliness will come to you is when you start outgrowing.
Leaving to leave people
behind. And
that's actually a good gateway into the next topic too.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to touch on it, because I've been feeling that a lot recently in my life since I've been making. Sorry, I don't want to say I'm making progress for myself, because that, to be truthful, I don't know how much progress I've made yet until I can look back on it. But as I'm actively trying to take such big steps in regards to my own personal growth, in terms of mentally, spiritually, physically, and monetarily, I think that's the word for money.
Sure.
Like I'm trying to up myself in every
category.
Every category, spiritually, mentally, physically, financially, and every aspect of my life. I'm trying every single day to do better in, because to me that's what the purpose of life is. It's to.
And some people don't want to change.
And
though.
some people don't
you
want.
Gotta, you gotta leave them.
You leave them, but it's not so much. It's not out of hate. It's not out of. It's not from a dark place. And so you can't bring people with you if they don't want. You can't make people walk the same path as you. They have to walk their own path, and sometimes you grow away from certain friends. Sometimes maybe they're still interested in the same things. You just don't simply have an interest for anymore. And
it's normal.
It's normal.
It's normal.
I think back to the last time this has really happened to me was like when you graduate high school.
Yeah, man.
Like the people that you might have spent. For me, anyway, because my high school was
small,
7 to 12, and it was very small. The people I went to elementary school with, I graduated with.
Yeah.
And like we've been, a lot of them I'm still friends with. We've reconnected, we've hung out a lot over recent years, but I graduated in 2019, and of course COVID hit, so that probably had a part to deal with it too. But you grow away from those people. Even some of my boys that graduated with high school, like I went like a couple of years without seeing those guys. Yep. And it wasn't out of hate. It wasn't out of I'm not down with what you're doing. It was just we started our own lives. We graduated high school. You went to college. You started chasing a career, starting to build something for yourself. And there's nothing evil. There's nothing wrong. You shouldn't feel guilty about that. But some people in your life just aren't meant to stay there forever.
And that's
you outgrow them.
It's the truth,
and,
man.
That was the last time it really happened for me. And now I've realized this year it's happening again.
Yeah.
And it's not even so much I'm doing it out of hatred. It's just that what they're concerned about and where their morals are don't resonate with me anymore. And I just can't, not out of hate, but I just can't surround myself with that energy anymore.
It's 100% true. Energy leechers.
And at the same time, it's like I don't feel guilty about that, because it's out of the best interest of myself, and it's out of a place of love. But you can't help but feel, because you spend a lot of time, especially with people you care about. You have a lot of good memories with them. You spend a lot of good times with them, and you think back, I won't be able to have that anymore. But that's not where you're going. You're going on a different path, and they're going on theirs, and there's nothing evil about that.
No, man.
But I won't lie to you and say it does make you feel a little bit lonely when you do.
Yeah, it does.
But at the same time, you're probably going to meet new people on this new path.
Oh, you will.
You definitely will.
You definitely will. And successful people too.
And yeah. That was going to be the next thing I wanted to talk about, was surrounding your people.
Sorry, do you see those two crows bullying the seagull up on top of that garbage can? I'm so sorry. I got totally distracted. There's like 3 crows over there.
Oh, damn.
Look at them. Are they going to go at it? Anyways, continue on, man. Continue on. I don't know what the frig they're doing.
Having people. Oh my God, that wind is chilly.
Yeah, man, it's getting cold.
The having people around you that are, I wouldn't it doesn't necessarily have to be successful people.
No.
But people who are actively trying to be successful, have
Wanting
the right
more in life.
attitude, want more out of life.
Yeah.
Now, I will add that having more people more successful than you in your circle or in your network is very important.
Is it ever?
At the same time, as much as you don't realize it, you're probably a role model for somebody in your life.
Yeah.
There's probably somebody in your life that looks at you and be like, hey, he's doing the right things. I need to be more like him. I need to make more moves like him. I need to act more a certain way because this is working out for him in this regard. You know, whatever it is. I'm sure you have someone in your life, one of your friends or one of your peers that you look up to and be like, hey, I wish I had a little more of your traits. I wish I could take a page out of your book, so to say. But just as much as you view somebody else like that, guaranteed that you are that person for somebody else as well. And it's kind of the circle of life, is that you want somebody or you want people around you that are just as successful or just as have a good attitude or just as ambitious as you. But you're also that person for somebody else, which is kind of the flip side. It's like a big chain. And this is why peer groups and friendships and brotherhoods are so important, is that you constantly you're building each other up. Because in the same coin, if you look at your friend group and say you find somebody that you wish you could be more like, I'm sure there's somebody in that friend group who you wish would stop being the way they were a little bit. You wish they would improve a little bit. But that's the beauty of having that group, is that you're chasing somebody else's attitude and somebody else is chasing yours. So like you're building yourself, at the same time you're building yourself, you're helping build somebody else.
Interesting.
It's a big cycle of successfulness and improvement. And the thing is, it doesn't happen effectively until your friend group can do it without ego and without jealousy and without envy, and doing it out of the love for one another to see each other succeed. Like I'll be in high school, like I'll use this, if one of my friends got like a new truck or something like that, I'd be like, fuck, I wish
that was me.
Wish that was me.
Yeah.
But you know, and I would be jealous. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't jealous. You know, obviously I was young, I was immature, I didn't have that good of a grasp on myself at the time. I'm not going to beat myself up about it, but I can recognize that what I was thinking and what I was prioritizing was wrong. And now thinking back on it and how I view my friends now, like say for like a couple of my buddies over at work, they just got raises, and you know, I make a good wage, and they're getting very close to like around my wage. And you know, past me would have been like, oh my God, they're almost gonna make as much money as me. Like I need to do better or something like that. But at the same time, nowadays I'm just like, hell yes.
Iron sharpens iron.
Iron sharpens iron, man. And at the same time where it's like, I want all my boys to succeed, no matter what, with or without me. Like at the way I view life now, it's like, anybody that I care about, I truly hope you succeed, whether or not it benefits me or not. Because, you know, let's be real, like when our friends do succeed, it usually benefits their peers.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like it might not be an actual first step action as, you know, improving your life, but by proxy, being around successful people, you're going to have
if success is all you know, success is all you're going to see.
That's just it. But wanting to tear each other down or not let somebody else get to the same level as you is the wrong perspective to have about it, because the way I view it now is that if they get to the same level as me, then I need to level up.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not, I don't want you to get up here with me, but I'm not staying here forever, man. Like and then you got to think about it. Two people at the equal success doing the same thing that are really tight is double whatever it is. Oh, 100%.
Right?
100%.
And that's incredible too. And it's not just you succeeding, it's your friend group succeeding. You get to see people rise, you get to see people succeed. Having a group of brothers that are all succeeding is incredible. Just look at what AMP's done.
Literally.
AMP is a group of brothers, and every single one of them has succeeded individually. It creates friendly competition, but the amount of things that they can do because they're a group and because they've all become successful is incredible. Yes, Kai Cenat would be good on his own, but I highly doubt that Kai Cenat would be as famous as he was
if it wasn't for AMP.
If it wasn't for his friend group. If it wasn't for the people around him trying to succeed and willing to help him succeed. What the flying frig
Foghorns,
is going
man.
on?
Can you see downtown? they gotta find some way to
We
navigate.
will try to wrap this up in a few minutes because I don't know if my camera's waterproof and I'm not willing to test it.
You don't know if it's waterproof?
I shouldn't say. I know the camera's waterproof. I don't know if the lens is waterproof because it's the lens.
Oh, the lens, right, right.
We're still going. I mean, we're still going.
We're still rolling.
We won't try to stay too long because I don't want to be out in the rain. And
No, we chatted for a bit beforehand. We're a little late starting, but whatever.
it's good. Have a brotherhood. I mean, truly and honestly, if one thing I would say from the bottom of my heart is find somebody who you can rely on in times you don't think you can rely on anybody.
Yes. Having that person in your corner, knowing that no matter what you say, not saying this as an excuse to treat them poorly, although at sometimes I'm cursing. I'm guilty of it. And you know, my friends are guilty of it too. If a certain person's watching this, he knows exactly who he is. But you know, so even when it comes to blows, like there's at times, hey man, you might just sometimes you just got to fight it out.
Well, think about it for a second. Why do UFC fighters have a corner man?
It's 100% true.
Why would they have a corner man? Because they know when times get tough,
you need somebody to fall back on.
We're firemen.
Yep.
We're firemen. Oh, that's so good. But it's true. You need somebody in your corner. You need a group of people around you to make you better, to make you stronger.
And the main thing that, when you said about AMP, they are all successful as individuals, but they don't let their individual success outshine each other. They're still brothers. That's still a group. They're still one collective group working towards the same goal, but you can still be successful individually.
You're not successful. Don't come into my video. You're not successful. I don't want you in here. We're bringing the brothers to the party. We're bringing the brothers to the backyard party. Come to the cookout.
Not only when you can build something or be successful with a group of guys, when you achieve that success, it's so much sweeter when you've got that group to share it with, to cherish it with, in order to celebrate with. Because yes, I will admit, achieving things on your own is a great satisfaction.
Because you did it.
Because you did it. Yeah. You know you did it by yourself. Yep. You pulled it out the fire. You did what was needed to be done without any help. Yep. But it's very lonely. It's a very lonely road to take because, as much as people pride themselves on, myself included, about accomplishing things on their own, that success just doesn't hit the same when you're celebrating alone. Yep. You need people around you, people you care about and people who care about you, truly, to celebrate the good times and to help you through the bad times. Because if you don't have those people in the bad times,
you won't have them in the good times.
You won't have them in the good times.
No, you won't.
And the vice versa.
Yeah.
If your friends are only there in the good times, chances are you won't have them in the bad times. And that is a good indication of showing who's real. Yeah. It's like, who sticks around when it's not benefiting them? True. Who sticks around when it might be hurting them too? Yeah. Because being that shoulder for somebody is a painful task to take on. To be truthful. I don't regret doing it at all. Although it does hurt me at times, quite literally a lot. And recently it's been hurting me a lot too. But, I don't regret it whatsoever.
Do you have any quote you want to put out there? Is there any quote that you came up with or anything you wanted to say?
Oh, I probably thought of something earlier today. I probably should have written it down, but I do not. So you share your nice quote.
If you have an apple and I have an apple and we exchange apples, then you and I will still have each one apple. But if you have an idea and I have an idea and we exchange these ideas, then each of us will have two ideas.
I love that one. That's great.
So good. It's so good. Think about it. Meditate on the word. If I give him an apple, he gives me an apple, we'll both have one apple. Yeah. But if I give him an idea and he gives me an idea, now we've got two ideas. Now we've got ideas that stem from other ideas, that lead into other ideas, that lead into success, that lead into all these other things, all because we relied on each other and we had a brotherhood.
That's right. Nothing more important, in my opinion. For like-minded guys out there, find yourself a good group of boys. There's no stronger force in this world, I don't think, than a active, strong, physically and mentally group of guys.
Look at Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate. I don't want to continue this.
I know, but man, that brotherhood that they have, man, I wish I had a blood brother like that. Because the bond that they share, no matter what, they have each other's back. That's what we all should be striving to be like. No matter what happens, if you're burned in fire, then I'm burning with you.
And if you want that community, come join the Men's Tavern.
Come join the Men's Tavern.
Come on, man.
It's a safe place. Like I said earlier, unfortunately, times will change, but if you don't have anybody else in your life right now, you don't have that peer support group, maybe you're working on it, maybe you're not quite comfortable doing it with the people around you, maybe you'd like to do it on a little bit more of an anonymous note, less personal.
It is. Your name's not tied to it. It's your online alias.
It's just come in and be yourself. Like, don't be afraid to, like you said, brag a little bit about your achievements.
Come brag.
Because I know I don't like talking about my achievements because
No.
I feel like I'm bragging, but dump it out. Whatever you got, man. Boys, girls, I don't care. Quite truthfully, doesn't quite matter. If you're going through something,
Come join.
come join.
Yeah.
Because it's obviously, we'd love for you to tell the people who are in your life who actively care about you. I'm not saying we don't care about you, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a difference.
If I had a problem, it'd be going to Zach first before it went to the tavern, but I'd still be using the tavern.
Absolutely.
I'll just say that for,
Come join the Men's Tavern. We'll see you there. We'll be there, active and willing to chat with any single one of you. Don't miss out on this perfect opportunity to join a community. Don't miss out on this next opportunity to join the biggest community out there, because I guarantee you within a couple months, the Men's Tavern will be the biggest community out there for Brotherhood.
Absolutely,
Really.
man.
Anything else you wanted to share with the world before we depart and we go home and eat some food?
No, I just want to thank God for allowing me to be here again for another day, giving me the strength to work through what I needed to work through today. Also, thanks to you for being an ear to listen to whatever twisted things were coming out of my mouth a little bit ago.
That's what we're here for.
But you know what I mean? I just thank God for every chance that I have to learn and grow as a person. I thank Him for every blessing that I have. I thank Him for this blessing that I have here. I'm able to sit in front of the camera and speak to you beautiful people in ways of working through challenges that I might have worked through personally before, work through challenges that I don't know what to do quite yet.
Yeah.
We don't know, but He gave me a voice. He gave me the courage to sit here in front of you guys with this mic and hopefully help you guys through some things. So I'm just glad He's allowed me to do it for another day.